to suffer internally, which will also benefit. Apart from India making the push, you're going to see a Chinese economy downfall. It's already slowing down. Unemployment is growing. Factories are closing down. So I think that will also give us certain benefit. When you're not going to get your orders delivered, you will have to be looking for an alternative.
Okay, on that note, we're going to dip into a short break. We'll be right back. All right. Sharad, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can.
Sharad, 43 unicorns were produced in 2021. And that was perhaps one of the toughest years, not only for India, but for the entire world. How would you categorize and explain, this momentous success which was achieved by some of our entrepreneurs?
Well, I don't want to play devil's advocate here, Vineet, but I would still like to bring some better realities in this regard. Why did you notice so many unicorns in this last 15 months? Because during the COVID, we were seeing excessive liquidity being infused by various governments across the world. $7 trillion was infused by the US government itself. All economies around the world had infused mega liquidity into their systems. So some of this went into stock markets. In fact, a lot of them went into stock markets. And of course, a substantial part walked into the startup ecosystem also. That's my first point. My second point is, and because as I said, I don't want to play devil's advocate, because I've been a startup mentor myself for a number of startups and for a number of years, even before Startup India mission was started in 2016. Is that some of the biggest startups in the country, which are now due to become decacorns. A decacorn is a $10 billion startup, 77,000 or 78,000 crores for that matter. If you touch, some of them may be touching that limit. But the very important point is, which the startups are missing right now, is the bottom lines, the profitability. We talk of Paytms, we talk of Zomatos. Do you know the kind of losses they are accumulating? Because I tracked down their balance sheets and their profit and loss accounts and the stock markets very closely. I can tell you that they are sinking deeper into losses. I think what these startups see, government is fine. Government has provided an ecosystem. Government has provided us a helping hand. Government has provided a conducive atmosphere. Now it comes to the startups to be able to sustain themselves. If they do not focus on their bottom lines, then the future can be in peril. They could be in trouble in the years to come. Now, some of the startups are not showing a profit roadmap for the next 4 to 5 years, which I feel may jitter the investors who've invested. So that is my first point. My second point is that if you heard Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat today, he spoke of EdTech, he spoke of FinTech, he spoke of Biotech. I heard the Mann Ki Baat today entirely. Where we are missing right now is manufacturing. I think, why are the startups not coming in manufacturing? Why are you only dependent on your mobile phone apps for startup? Because a more solid, a more concrete startup can be if you set up a small manufacturing center. Make in India has also been launched by Government of India. So I think these 35 years and less is the average startup entrepreneur age. I think they are only looking at apps. They are only looking at being aggregators. I would advise through your program today that please come forward and set up your small manufacturing units. What Professor Nalapat said and I said in your previous program. Let us start manufacturing these small things on which we are dependent on China. There are loads and loads of shipments coming for China for tiny little things. Why can't on earth we manufacture these things in India? So those are the two very strong observations I had, Vineet. One is they must focus, because let's not forget, Vineet, that valuation, unicorn becomes out of valuation, not your profits. Please, we should technically note this, and so should the viewers of NewsX today. So therefore, bottom lines is what they should focus on. Second, for God's sake, please set up manufacturing units apart from the magical apps you are setting on your mobile phones. Vineet.
Okay, Mr. Jindal, if you can hear me. Mr. Jindal, if you're there with us. Mr. Akash Jindal, please unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
I think his frame is frozen.
Mr. Jindal?
Yeah, it's frozen.
Okay, we'll come back to Mr. Jindal momentarily. There seems to be a problem with his connection. Sharad, coming back to you, do you think there's also, this notion of a lot of these startups becoming complacent and